welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on Paramount Plus that has crowned its new champions. That's right, I'm talking about The Challenge All-Stars Season 3, Episode 10, the finale. We have crowned the new champions of The Challenge All-Stars, and let's start off where last episode left off, and the scoreboard was that Wes and Jonna were at the top of the leaderboards, followed by Nehemiah and Naya, Brad and Kayla, and Mark and KellyAnne coming in last place, coming up the rear. But we had everybody running towards the beach to get into their tandem kayaks to make it to the next checkpoint and see who can get another 4 points before heading into the next checkpoint. Now, I will say that Mark and KellyAnne dropped the ball in the first checkpoint where they had to construct a raft and then paddle because they both lost their respective matchups. However, combined, they were able to out-kayak everybody else left in the game as they got to TJ in the next checkpoint first, getting 4 points. Then Nehemiah and Kayla got 3 points. Brad and Jonna got 2 points despite Brad trying to take a nap in the back of his kayak. And Wes and Naya struggled through this checkpoint. Together, they have been crushing the first half of these finals, but in the kayak together, they were so far behind. But despite being so far behind, they still got 1 point each, meaning that Wes was able to hold on to his first place status with 19 points, Nehemiah having 18 points, Brad having 11, and Mark getting 7. It's a closer race for the men, but on the women's side, we have Jonna with 17 points, Kayla reclaiming second place with 15 points, Nehemiah getting 14 points, and KellyAnne with 9 points, still in single digits. But now is the checkpoint we've kind of all been waiting for, and it is King of the Hill or Queen of the Hill. And this is special because this was the first challenge/task that TJ officiated when he first hosted the challenge on his first season in Season 11, Gauntlet 2. And the matchups are set. We have Brad versus Wes, KellyAnne versus Naya, Nehemiah versus Mark, and Jonna versus Kayla. All you have to do is knock your opponent off the floating platform into the water first. If you do that, you get 5 points. The first team up is Brad versus Wes, and this was a complete blowout. And pretty much all of these matchups are complete blowouts. Brad wins against Wes, getting 5 points, and Wes gets nothing. KellyAnne versus Naya was a huge blowout. I mean, even Wes was saying that KellyAnne looked like a little child standing next to Naya on that floating platform, and Naya made quick work of KellyAnne, getting her off the platform easily. Nobody got hurt. Then we have Mark making quick work, if not quicker work, than Naya did to KellyAnne when Mark faced Nehemiah as he threw him into the water. And the only slightly good matchup we had of this checkpoint was Jonna versus Kayla, and Jonna was able to use her mom strength to get Kayla off the platform. So with Brad, Naya, Mark, and Jonna getting 5 points each, the scoreboard now looks like Jonna in first place with 22 points, Naya in second place with 19 points, Kayla having 15 points, and KellyAnne still with 9 points. And on the men's side, we have Wes still with 19 points, Nehemiah still with 18 points, but Brad has cut down their lead. Now he has 16 points, and Mark is coming up the rear still with 12 points. But it's still a close race, a very close race, a closer race at least than what we left off in the last episode of episode 9 of these finals. But now we have new running mates going on to the next running portion, and we have Brad and Jonna paired up together yet again, Mark and Naya paired up together, Nehemiah and KellyAnne, and Kayla and Wes. And in this running portion slash checkpoint slash task portion is all the teams are going to have to transport 100 pounds of sandbags to the next checkpoint. Now, Nehemiah and KellyAnne get an early head start on everyone in the running portion, and it's because they decided that they're going to do 2 trips. They thought that, hey, it's probably not that far to the next checkpoint. We'll just grab half the sandbags, take off running, and then we'll drop them, run back real quick, grab the rest, and then run back. Everybody else decides that they're going to take all of their sandbags at once. And in my opinion, that was always going to be the right move. It's only 100 pounds, right? It's not too overwhelming. Yes, it's going to be awkward to transport all those different sandbags of all those different weights, but it's still only 100 pounds. Naya and Mark are OP in this portion. They are the strongest out of the men and the women, and they're paired up together. They just grab all those sandbags and they just start walking, and they stay at a steady pace. And whenever the teams, which was at some point, all the teams had to stop, readjust the sandbags, had to take a break, take a breather, and Mark and Nia were just focused and consistent in their pace, and they never stopped. They were like a steam engine with those sandbags, and they were able to get to TJ first. They each get 4 points each. We had at one point Brad struggling with 60 pounds worth of sandbags, while Jonna decided that, hey, let's switch. You can take the 40 pounds, I'll take the 60 pounds, and they finish it that way. As Jonna muscled this, both Jonna and Brad got third place. Wes and Kayla finished just ahead of them, getting second place and 3 points each. Jonna and Brad got third with 2 points each. And Nehemiah and KellyAnne quickly realized halfway through this walk that they should have grabbed all their sandbags, especially when they dropped all their sandbags in the middle of the trail, started running back, and kept asking everybody and every team, did you grab all your sandbags? Did you grab all your sandbags? And every single team said yes, yes, yes. So KellyAnne and Nehemiah knew that they dumb messed up because they ran back, got the rest of their sandbags, and got dead last. And so they got 1 point each. Moving on to the overnight portion, the scoreboard looks like first is still Jonna now with 24 points. Second is now Nia with 23 points. Very, very close. Kayla's in third place with 18, and KellyAnne is now in the double digits with 10 points. And we have, for the men, first is Wes with 22 points, Nehemiah with 19 points, Brad with 18 points, and Mark with 16 points. It's such razor thin with all the men and 3 of the women, while KellyAnne is really behind. I mean, you got 8 points behind Kayla, and you can never make it up on the run because everybody's going to grab points no matter what on the run. So I just really felt for KellyAnne because in the point system, she was very, very much behind everybody, and I didn't think that she was going to be able to make it up at any point. But now it is time for the overnight portion, and in my mind, I was going a million miles an hour in my brain. What could the overnight portion be? Could they be standing on logs? Could they be sleeping on rocks? Are they going to have to eat that disgusting plate that we saw in the preview of last episode heading into this episode before they could even get to their bed situation? My mind was racing. Come to find out, TJ says that the overnight portion is going to be them sleeping on a yacht in comfort. And I was scratching my head. All the contestants were like, yeah, right. We're not going to sleep on a yacht. They all thought, I think Kayla, Brad, and I think even Wes mentioned that there's no way that the challenge is just going to let them sleep all night on a yacht in comfort, in beds, giving them all the food that they would want, get a good night's sleep for the next portion. There has to be a catch. TJ's going to come in with a twist and really throw a wrench into everybody's plans. I thought that was going to happen at some point. I thought that they were going to get to eat, they were going to get to shower, they were going to maybe start get relaxed and maybe just get to bed and maybe just lay their heads on pillows, and then TJ was going to like get on the boat at like 1 a.m. and knock on everybody's door and tell them to get up on the deck, grab on your challenge gear, you're going to be going somewhere, and they're going to have to like go do something for the rest of the night, waiting for the sun to rise and then TJ to get them for the next portion of the finals. But that never came. We went from a challenge all-star final to an episode of Below Deck Mediterranean on Bravo with everybody just hanging out on a yacht all night and getting to eat all the food and sleep as well as they could. I mean, some people got seasick, but to me, the overnight portion was a little disappointing because I thought that they were going to make them do a ton of different stuff or a different task for points, and it just never worked out. I think that was a blown opportunity, but we wake up the next day, everybody dons their challenge gear, has breakfast, gets off the yacht onto another boat to meet up with TJ on the beach, where TJ congratulates Wes, Nehemiah, Jonna, and Nia for finishing in the top half of the players from the first day, and says that they will be safe from participating in the next daily challenge for the right to stay in the finals, because the finals can only handle 6 more people for the final push of these finals. So that means Kayla versus KellyAnne, Brad versus Mark, to see who will be making it on to the last leg of the finals and who will be purged. What the Purge Challenge is a crossword puzzle of 10 countries that have hosted a challenge final. In the house, there was a giant map of the Earth where it showed all the countries that have hosted a final for the challenge. Kayla's never seen this map. Brad and Mark may have glanced at it, and KellyAnne actually studied this map. And so they just have to use the magnet letters to spell out 10 countries. We got some funny moments here because they're supposed to spell countries, but we have Brad and I think Kayla trying to spell California, which is not a country. We have KellyAnne trying to spell Cancun, which is not a country. We had Mark, who never put the USA in the 3-letter block because he used the S to spell Brazil wrong, which was mightily funny. TJ was having a good chuckle at it. My thought process going into this was that Kayla was going to be eliminated from the finals. I mean, she has had the most troubles with all the women, especially the women who are left, because she rubbed them the wrong way with the alliances, with taking shots at them, for cheating off of them in previous challenges, and even when KellyAnne was said, like, I studied the map. I know what this map is, and I've studied it multiple mornings while Kayla's over here going like, I'm just guessing. I don't know anything. Yet Kayla wins. KellyAnne studied this map, and it yielded to her getting booted off of this final at the last moment. So Kayla wins, gets to stay in these finals, gets to stay in the final push, and Brad just gets the win over Mark, meaning Mark and KellyAnne are purged out of these finals, securing 4th place, and we have Kayla and Brad staying in this game for the final push, which is a solo race with 3 checkpoints and some running motions as everybody is trying to make their way back to the yacht that they slept in the night prior to get back on the yacht where the cash is being held, and then they get to sail off into the sunset, literally. So let's reiterate, the first day portion of the points was solely to see who was going to be fighting it out in this right to stay challenge, and the points don't yield an advantage beyond this point. The rest of the players line up as TJ blows that horn and they all take off. Brad and Wes were kind of neck and neck at the beginning, and everybody else is kind of jumbled up, and Wes is able to arrive at the first checkpoint, arriving at a station that has a scale that is holding a ton of disgusting meat, pounds of this disgusting meat, and each player has to eat 2 pounds. So we have Wes arriving first, then Brad, then Jonna in 3rd, Nehemiah in 4th, Kayla in 5th, and Naya is coming in last. Now, something to remember, Nehemiah is vegan, and he hasn't eaten meat in like 15 years, I think he said, but he said that with this amount of money on the line, and because this is a challenge, he would eat a set of balls and lick the plate clean if it was for this amount of money and the challenge win. Brad was talking about his experiences and challenge career and being able to not have to eat a whole bunch of disgusting stuff in his challenge career, but now he can't get away from it. He's gonna have to eat this plate. Jonna and Kayla like cry with each other. Naya is having a really rough time, and so is Nehemiah, of course, but Wes is done with his eating portion first. And I think he like over dramatizes it a little bit, as he like at one point he like pukes on his beard and lets it run down his beard, and then he's even like holding it to show everybody instead of just like trying to wipe it or like make a face or anything. He like tries to show everybody, and you have Brad who is disgusted by it, Kayla, Nehemiah, Naya. Like, I think he just did it to get into everybody's mind who was already hating this eating portion, and I think Wes was taking time to just like play these mental games with the rest of the competitors. Wes was able to eat quite quickly. He was done with this first, then it was Jonna who was done with her portion, then Brad, Kayla, and they leave Nehemiah and Naya to eat as much as they can, and everybody else takes off for the next checkpoint. Wes arrives at the next checkpoint first, which is just a star puzzle. Once you finish that, you grab your surfboard and run to the last checkpoint. Now, I do want to throw this out there. I think the editing team was trying to make this look closer than it was, because if you look at when Jonna gets to her puzzle, Wes's surfboard is already gone. So when we see Wes get to his puzzle and he talks about like, these puzzles are relatively easy, but when you see that yacht, it kind of throws you off a little bit. Then you see Jonna come in, and then you see Brad come in, and he has that confessional of like, oh, well, I get to the beach and I look at that puzzle and then I can see Wes, and I know that I just got to get this puzzle done and I can catch up to him and I can maybe win over Wes. But in my opinion, and looking at how the edit was, it looks like Wes gets this puzzle done before anybody else shows up. He grabs the surfboard and takes off. This star puzzle is not that hard. And I think when Kayla shows up, Jonna already grabbed her surfboard and already took off. So I believe Wes took off before anybody really showed up. Then Jonna finished her puzzle like that. And then Brad and Kayla took a little bit longer on it because it is a puzzle. And they were able to get it done somewhat quickly enough to be able to get to the last checkpoint while Wes and Jonna were still there. But I think that the edit was a little bit wonky because I think that Wes and Jonna kind of blew past everybody. Once they ate, I think they blew past that star puzzle, was able to start stacking blocks. And you can even see that by the time Brad and Kayla get to their block stacking portion of the last checkpoint, Wes and Jonna were getting checks and grabbing their surfboard and heading off to the yacht to win this game. So I just don't think that last portion of the final push of this final was close at all. I think the closest it was at the eating portion, and everybody else was complaining while Jonna and Wes were just feeding their faces and getting this done ASAP. Speaking of the eating portion, we go back over there and we see that Nia and Nehemiah are still eating. Nia wants to quit. She wants to wave the white flag. Nehemiah tells her to just eat. You don't know what the rest of the final is going to look like. You don't know if there's only one checkpoint left and somebody has already won, or if there's 15 checkpoints left and we can make up some time at some other point in these finals. So he tells her just to eat, don't quit. If you quit, you're completely out of this game, but if you keep going, there's still a shot. So both Nehemiah and Nia are able to complete this eating portion, but by the time they get to the beach to the next checkpoint, Wes and Jonna are already on the yacht celebrating their win as Brad and Kayla, who finished their stacking portion, took off into the water with their surfboards, were quickly turned around because Wes and Jonna were already on the yacht celebrating their win. Wes and Jonna win All-Stars Season 3, while Brad and Kayla, I guess you can say that they got second, while Nehemiah and Nia both got third. And we get this moment where Jonna and Wes are jumping up and down, excited, dancing. Wes says he's going to buy a Lamborghini, while on the beach we have Brad, Kayla, Nehemiah, and Nia kind of reflecting on their past season, saying that they all want to return, come back better than ever. Kayla is crying because she's proud of herself, but she also wanted this win. And that's where the whole season ends. There's no coming soon. There's nothing to that effect like we got last season. It just ends, and that's it. That's it for All-Stars Season 3 and the finals. I have to say that these finals were fine. I really liked the way that they did it because it was a lot more organized and focused and a lot more straightforward than last season's especially. So I actually liked this final and the way it was set up. In total, I just think that this episode was a little bit underwhelming because if you think about it, it was just 2 running portions, a checkpoint before the overnight portion, which was them all being able to sleep on a yacht, which was a little underwhelming, then a right to stay challenge, and the final push, which I think was a huge blowout by Wes and Jonna, who left everybody in the dust once they finished that eating portion. I have to say that I actually really enjoyed this All-Star season. I love the cast. I thought the editing was a little wonky and there was some missed opportunities left on the table, but you could say that about every single season. I thought the daily challenges were relatively good. I thought the eliminations could have used some work, and this final, I think I liked it way better than I liked Season 2's final. I don't know if I liked it better than Season 1's final, but I think it's up there. And I think this was a fun way to end this season, a very strong All-Star season. And I hope that there will be another All-Star season and more All-Star seasons to come because I love All-Stars. I hate the rumors are going around that this could be the final All-Stars and we're not going to get another All-Stars ever because this is what we want out of the challenge, and I really enjoyed this season. But that is it for the challenge All-Stars Season 3. What'd you think about these finals? What'd you think about this episode? What'd you think about this season overall? And what do you think about the winners being Wes and Jonna? Are you sad to see this season end? let me know that as well. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me, and I had a great time getting to chat with everybody in the comment sections from week to week. The new season of the Challenge USA is going to be starting up very soon, and so we have a whole new journey starting right away, but I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who supports me over at patreon.com/angelcakevids. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who is watching this video up to this point. I really, really appreciate it. I'll be back really, really soon with more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.